Cafe. Anyway, it's Mike Matthews.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
How are you doing? Are you enjoying this day? It's FF episode 2507. 2507.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
This is a show where Mike Matthews talks to you and we talk and then you talk back if you want. You can call me back here at the restaurant cafe anyway. You can call 1336 Daily and I will fix that question. I'll answer it, what you have for me.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
The last show was called Grabs. Up for grabs. I was talking about how Zoom grabs your computer
Mike's
and basically
Daily
does what it needs to
Podcast.
to make it work correctly,
Yeah.
to make it work seamlessly. You don't really know what Zoom is doing in the background. That's really miraculous. Yes. You know what else is miraculous? NASA's James Webb Space Telescope captured a stunning image of the fingerprint that forms when two stars come close to each other. You know, there's that thing like when the Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie got too close to each other. I guess that was like a fingerprint that happened. But that's different. The James Webb Space Telescope captured the rare sight of a fingerprint in space. The fingerprint in the image consists of 17 concentric circles radiating from a point of contact. 17. Interesting number, 17, isn't it? That was the number on the album cover. It was the name of the album that Chicago came out with. That was really big when I was in high school. It was the last one that Peter Cetera was on. And it featured the song, Your Hard Habit to Break, and You're the Inspiration. And then he went solo. He got the heck out of there.
And here's today's podcast picture.
There's another great song on that album called When a Man Loves a Woman. Oh, no. Then along comes a woman. Yeah, I mixed up Percy Sledge with Chicago. What am I thinking? Anyway, Cafe Anyway. The podcast picture is from 2 weeks ago. Our final day in Shasta 2 weeks ago. I will post that to you. I remember it was a nice hot walk. Wasn't too hot, but I was thirsty and I just drank right out of the lake, Castle Lake. And poured water all over my head. Oh, the late great Basil, the boxer, never got to go to Castle Lake. We got close to it. The Siskiyou Lake down below we went to, but not that one. Unfortunately. So fascinating that about stars and whatnot. A fingerprint in space. Pretty cool. I think that you need to think about space a little bit more in your life and realize the craziness that's going on out there that we don't even think about because we're all just sitting here concerned about how much we're spending, how much it costs to live in the Bay Area. Apparently, households in the San Francisco, Oakland, Hayward metropolitan area, so San Francisco and the East Bay, spent an average of $91,000, a little bit over, per year. That is what they calculated for the years 2020 to 2021. Now that is, guess how many thousands of dollars that is more? Thousands, yes, thousands of dollars more than the average in America. It's about $30,000 more than the average American. We pay $30,000 more a year living in the San Francisco, Oakland Bay. How are we even surviving here is what I want to know. That is crazy. The largest expenditure category was housing. Housing was what boosted it all. Transportation costs, it was about 12%. 12% of our budget. Nationally, this is interesting. It's actually less than nationally. Nationally, the transportation costs are about 4% more, 16%. So a little bit more nationally. So we're doing better here in the Bay Area for that. And, this is crazy. We spend about 1% less. Maybe a little tiny bit less than nationally for food. That doesn't make sense. I guess they're talking about buying food at the grocery store. It may be a little bit more nationally. That's crazy. Interesting. This all from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. They've been sending me emails lately, and I find them so fascinating. You got to be kidding me. This is crazy stuff, what you're telling me here. Let's see. San Francisco actually pays a little bit less than the national average on clothing. But that is the least amount, apparel and services, that we pay for in the Bay Area. Very cool. I'm going to save that article somewhere. Probably never read it again, but I'm fascinated. So, something to think about. And let's give them something to think about. In the great... by the way, did I tell you I got a response from Acorn TV because I complained about that television show, Recipes for Love and Murder, and I said, hey, the last episode was horrible. Why? The rest of your episodes were wonderful for this show. Loved it. Takes place in South Africa. But now this last episode was terrible. What happened? What went wrong? We were so mad. And Acorn TV, who produces the show, they got back to me and they said, hello, Mike. Thanks for your feedback. Acorn TV takes all of your comments seriously. We will pass this along for any further consideration. And I think that was pretty much it. Then they closed the ticket. They closed the ticket. Don't you love it when people close tickets? As we go outside a cafe anyway, we're bringing Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcastro Valley, the last place on earth. Anyway, I don't know if you deal with tickets. It's more of an IT type thing. You put in a ticket when there's a problem and they try and fix it. And when they do it, they resolve the ticket. They close the ticket. And then you always close the ticket too soon. Because they got better things to do. They got to wrap it up. Did I tell you it's episode 2507, 2507, here in Podcastro Valley, Cafe Anyway, the last place on earth? And look who's here. Hello, Mike Matthews, it's Chely Shoehart, gift shop supervisor. Why is it called a ticket? Well, as far as I can tell, it's because people in the IT world love going to the movies. And when you go to the movies, you need a ticket to get in. And so they just thought, this is like a ride. How you need a ticket to get on a ride? That's what it is. They want to make it terminology that they like. Oh, okay, Mike Matthews. I don't know. That's purely conjecture. Look who else is here. Hello, Mike. This is Floyd the Floorman. And this is John Deere, the engineer. Mike, I heard you got a cat. Oh, yeah. Let's start the contest now. Let's start the, what do you call it? The mail-in, the call-in. Call me now. Tell me what you think we should name this new cat. He's a little guy. He's a little kitten. He was born about 4 months ago. And he was the only survivor of a litter of kittens that was found in a backyard in Hayward. So we've got this kitten now. He's going to stay inside. He's going to be an indoor cat versus Patches, who adopted us from the outsides. He's feral. Grew up feral. There's really no way we're going to make this cat domesticated, although he does let us pet him, but he doesn't let us pick him up. So now we got two cats. What do we call the new cat? It's a male. He's gray colored, kind of greenish eyes, greenish yellow eyes. What do you think? You can call me 336MM Daily. 3 + 3 = 6. MM is the Mike Matthews Daily, as in what this podcast has been now for a couple days. And has in the title, so there you go. We should call him Daily, huh? Daily. Mike's Daily Cat. That's not going to work, is it? Either that or mochi. I don't know. Mochi donuts are delicious. Have you tried? Mike, I eat those every day. I know, John Deere, the engineer. They're so good. You have to eat about 50 of them. They're made out of like this rice flour. It's so good. I like the one that has the strawberries on it and tastes like Fruity Pebbles. Uh-huh. Hey, last night I went back in time. Somebody has taken all the Hanna-Barbera cartoons from the 50s to the 80s, because somewhere in the 80s they stopped really making new cartoons. And they put all the openings to the theme songs to the shows, like Yogi Bear, the Flintstones, and there were a couple I had completely forgotten about. Harlem Globetrotters, the Jabberjaw. It was amazing to watch that and go, wow, I watched that as a kid. And it was funny because I could tell which ones I really knew was about 76 to 79. That seemed to be the year span that I was really watching TV and really watching the Saturday morning television. Then after that, there was stuff I'm like, wait, what? They did that? I didn't know Hanna-Barbera did that. That's weird. So anyway, Cafe Anyway, it's fun to go back in time and go, wow, they made some. We criticize cartoons and television they make for kids today. It was no good back then either. It was, wow. I sat through that. I remember driving my dad crazy with the weird shows. But I guess it had a hand in turning me into what I am today with this podcast, with the strange characters that you have. I noticed Hanna-Barbera, just about every cartoon had a cat in it. Some kind of cat. The cat was a sidekick. The cat was the main character. Or a dog. There was this show called Hong Kong Phooey. And that was a dog, but his sidekick was a cat. I don't know. Cafe, I don't know. All right. So I'm going to take us back, not quite back to the 70s. Or I did go back to the 90s, early 90s last podcast. This time we're going to go back to 2002. I used to do a show on the radio. It was called the Santa Fe Cafe, sort of a precursor to what you hear on this show here at Cafe Anyway. And it was on a country station, so I would get requests, and they sounded a little something like this.
What is that for? We're going to hear from Martina McBride next. Also going to get to Trick Pony, and we will hear from Trace Atkins, his new one called Help Me Understand, as well as After Midnight with Blair Garner. And it's 11:40, and that means the Country Quiz at 10:30 and 11:30. Monday through Friday, it's the K-Hey Country Quiz. If you'd like to play the K-Hey Country Quiz, call me now at 650-K-Hey. We'll pick a contestant to play the K-Hey Country Quiz. You could win Leanne Womack's award-winning CD, I Hope You Dance, featuring, of course, that song on it, as well as Why They Call It Fallen and Ashes by Now. 650-K-Hey.
You could try calling that number now, 650-K-Hey. See if anybody answers. I don't know if they still use that. That radio station is still around, but yeah, that was a while ago. So Leanne Womack, remember that song, I Hope You Dance? We were giving it away. I wonder if anybody called in.
Full of ideas from last weekend's Home and Garden Show? Do you have bags full of literature?
Contestant is Brett from Isla Vista. Brett, let's look at the quiz wall and pick a topic from our three panels. Panel 1 says Chely writes Fight Inside. Panel 2 says Andy Griggs digs his digs. And panel 3 says Tammy Cochran's Cool Plan. Which one you want, Brett? 2. Andy Griggs digs his digs.
Andy Griggs was a country singer that had a couple of hits. What was that one? You Won't Ever Be Lonely, I think, was his biggest song.
Brett, very often Andy Griggs gets asked to play one of his songs for weddings and marriage proposals. It's A, She's More, B, I'll Go Crazy, or C, You Won't Ever Be Lonely.
I bet you it's C. Let's see.
A, She's More.
A, She's More. You're right. Oh, You got the Leanne Womack CD.
Space, the final frontier. Is it a limited resource in your...
Oh, man. I lost on my own country quiz question from over 20 years ago. Wow. Oh, and the voice that we heard at the end there, that guy's name was Kevin. And he's no longer with us. But it sounded like he was doing a little Star Trek thing. That was pretty cool. All right. Now, that was the segment. Let's go back with Matthews. Now it's time for the segment called the Mike Matthews New Tunes Feud. A New Tunes Feud. We're having here the Mike Matthews New Tunes Feud. And that's very difficult to say, but I said it. So, this is a band that I cannot find the name. Rival Consoles. Oh, okay. They're called Rival Consoles. That's the name of them. Rival Consoles. And they have a song. This is called Vision of Self. I'm going to play a little snippet of it. The video has some cool animation. It kind of reminds me of 1970s animation. So that's Rival Consoles. Do you like that better, or do you like Apollonio? Not to be confused with Apollonia, who was involved with Prince in some way. I forget what she did exactly. Did she sing Take Me With You with Prince back in the huge days of the Prince days when he had Purple Rain come out? Something like 5 singles off that album went to the top 10 at least. Okay, so this is Apollonio and a song called OCD.
I said it, and I fall away. I said it, I fall away.
All right, did you like Rival Consoles or Apollonio? You can call me now. 336-MM Daily. 3 + 3 = 6. MM is in Mike Matthews Daily, as in what this podcast has been now for a couple of days. And I will tell you on the next podcast who won. I know you're excited to find out. So help root for the one you like better. I do this on every podcast now. The Mike Matthews New Tunes Feud, if I can. I think it's fun.
Call now. 336-MM Daily.
And it's great the calls I'm getting. I'm getting so many calls. I'm getting too many to count. And I got into radio because I can't count. So there you go. Horrible with math. Hey, next show it'll be the wonderful Benita, the Disgruntled Fiddle Player, and the Brewmaster. And with more ways to reach me, it's A-Frame.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com. Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye.